This is Veterans Talk. It ain't nothing but a thing, but it's a thing we want you to tune into every Saturday afternoon. I'm Elsa McGee, your host, and I'm here today with my co-host and my brother in Christ and my partner in mischief in the community. Where it ain't right. If it ain't right, me and Tony gonna be there to check you. But we're here doing the same thing we've been trying to do ever since we started the show, to make sense out of a sensitive situation called the plight of veterans in the USA, and the USA with dealing with the plight of veterans. And today we got a special guest here to help us out with some of that stuff that we always talking about is veterans benefits. Now, one of the things that we discussed today at monthly membership meeting, this was our monthly membership meeting, and all you members out there that's listening and didn't show up at the monthly membership meeting, you need to call me. We need to talk. We got a conversation to have about what you gonna do when they come for you. And believe me, if you getting Social Security, and I don't know whether you're watching TV or not, but you see what our next president is doing. He's putting together a cabinet that looked like a drama team. They don't know what they're doing and they don't care, but they got an agenda. And most of it was set out in Project 25 before we got the election. We just didn't get it. But we're veterans, and we're gonna improvise, and we're gonna make sure that we win the war. We're gonna make sure that we win the fight for veteran benefits. And one of the benefits that we talked about today at the monthly membership meeting is the price of housing, just how you live, where you live in the community. And there's only two ways you can get to housing. That's through rent or mortgage. And I'm a person that believe in the mortgage. Why? Because I be an equity every time I pay my mortgage. And when I pay rent, I don't get no equity in that. I don't get nothing out of it. And, to help make sense out of what I'm talking about, we got this beautiful young lady that has been amazing to us in this group. And she have made the sacrifice today to come be with us. Lorenza, how you doing, baby?
I'm doing great. Thanks so much, Reverend. How are you?
I'm blessed. Now, just introduce yourself. Tell people where you're from, first of all, so they'll know who you are, because where you're from tell a lot about who you are. Because I know who you are, and I'm just I'm proud. Okay.
Well, my name is Lorinda Montgomery, and I grew up here. I'm not a Grady baby. I'm actually a Cook County baby. If anyone's out there from Illinois, I'm born in Chicago. I grew up here, Mays High graduate. Went to Grinnell University in Gainesville, so Atlanta's been my home for almost, I can't really say because then I'll be dating myself, but Atlanta's been home for a long time. I grew up in Southwest Atlanta, not too far from Fort McPherson, and so my parents are still there. I'm still on that side of town, and so I'm just here to offer my assistance to anyone who needs to know how this real estate market game is played. So that's why I'm here.
And what I'm excited about is you being a realtor, right? And the Atlanta market. That's something that and we was talking in the monthly membership meeting about the price of housing and how it can be more than 45% of your monthly budget.
Mm-hmm.
And how do we get past that when we keep seeing if you're a rental, you're subject to rent increases.
Yes.
Every month. But now, if you're a mortgage holder, are you subject to monthly increases in your mortgage unless you?
Normally, you're not. So what happens is with the mortgage, if you have just a 30-year fixed mortgage, fixed means it's fixed.
Mm-hmm.
So the only thing that may change is if your taxes increase
Mm-hmm.
or your insurance increase.
Okay.
But the overall mortgage won't increase.
Yes. Okay.
Right. So if you're in an area where the taxes are steadily going up,
Mm-hmm.
then yes, you're going to see an increase in your mortgage. But that's only because the taxes have gone up, and you need to pay more into your taxes so that the mortgage company can take care of that.
Okay, and now that's pretty clear. But let me ask you something else. Now I know that this might sound silly to you, but I think a lot of people need to understand this. If I got a mortgage, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm paying my mortgage every month, so I'm building what I call equity in my home, right?
Yes.
Equity. Can I get money out of that when I want to? Now, if I was renting, I'm renting every month,
No.
and I'm paying my rent on time, right? I'm a good rental, but can I borrow money on my rent? I'm just trying to make sense out of this stuff because it upsets me when I realize that my grandchildren pay more for an apartment than I pay for my mortgage. So that's why I'm being so facetious with this.
I understand.
It sounds like I'm being silly, but I'm trying to get it across so not just veterans, but our young people will start looking at home ownership. So I want you to sell us a home today.
I totally agree. Most people think that, and people have various reasons on why they rent. Most of them feel they can't afford. I think that's the biggest reason why people will not venture into home ownership, is because they think they can't afford it. Instead of going out and finding out the information for themselves. You're right, rents are going up steadily, and people are going to be priced out of places to live because they're not going to be able to afford the rental properties, or paying rent. It is now, if you can pay the rent on an apartment, let's say a 3-bedroom, 2-bath apartment, and it's $1,800, $2,000, $2,100, you can afford a house. We just need to get you into a program that teaches you how you can do it.
Yeah,
because it is doable.
And and too, now we know that veterans, right, got this program for buying a home where they don't even have to get a down payment. They got closing costs and all that stuff. But then there are programs out there that actually provide what they call down payment assistance that they can get.
They can probably qualify for that too. So they can truly walk in and not have to, I'm not going to say pay nothing, but pay the minimum amount. It's a lot less than what they're thinking in their heads that they're going to have to pay. And that VA loan, 100%, I mean, zero down, 100% financing. I mean, we can't get that. And I mean, we meaning, the normal public. And so for them not to be utilizing it, or not, I should say, not understanding how it works, saddens me, because they're the market that really could afford a house versus everyone else.
And that would help build the community that we live in, right?
Yes.
If we're homeowners. See,
you get rid of all the vacant homes, all the dilapidated homes. People come in and start taking care of their properties, and neighborhood values will go up, as opposed to it going up because someone came in, tore down a house, and built a mini McMansion. And so, yes.
Yeah. So we're at this point where now we're looking at a new administration, where some of the policies that they are talking about is going to increase the cost of living all across the board. Food, appliances, most of the import stuff that we get, just the change is going to come. How do we look at going into the housing buying market with this drama? Is it something that we can comfortably still go at, or whether it's just going to be caught up in the drama that everything else is being caught?
That is a very good question, with so many vines for the answer. Initially, I would say go at it full force. Find out what you need to do to get into a property. Checking on your credit, checking on how much you have saved, checking on what your budget's like, doing all of those things. That would be my first. Don't let the news deter you, because several people, they have waited. They're waiting themselves out of the market, but they don't realize that. And the reason why I say they're waiting themselves out of the market is because I've talked to several clients, that not veterans, but regular clients, and they are waiting. Well, I want to see if the interest rate's going to drop. Well, I want to see if we're going to reach the time where we were back in 2008 when the market crashed and there were good deals out there. This is a different type of market. We're not going back to that, and they need to take the time now to figure out what they want, what they need, and then talk with professionals about getting it. the internet doctors don't know everything. You need to talk to a professional that's out here, boots on the ground, doing the work, talking to people, talking to lenders, talking to housing authorities, talking to people who know the business. And so from there, the other question you asked about what can they do? Be informed buyers, be informed sellers. Speak to people who are doing this daily to get the information so that they can make informed decisions. Because right now, I think a lot of people are sitting back waiting. They're being told what to do because the media is saying this. They're reading this. This article says this. This professional says this. This economist says this. They're not talking to the lenders. They're not talking to the realtors. They're not talking to people who actually do this day in and day out that can advise them the way they need to be advised.
Yeah. So that's you.
Yes.
So listen, I want you to give. I mean, I brought you here because I know you was gonna give us some good information. I want you to give these folks your contact information too, because listen, people perish because of lack of knowledge.
Yes.
And in our community, and I grew up on the west side. I bought my first house in Adamsville on Whitworth Drive. When I was 19 years old, why I was so young, my parents was always the one that told me about this. My dad especially, why are you gonna pay rent when you can pay a mortgage? You put money in your own pocket when you pay a mortgage. We need to understand that one of the stepping stones for generational wealth is in home buying. It's just simple. When my parents, was passed on to the other side, I got a free house, right? It was a stepping stone. Even though I had my own, because they raised me to have my own, but at the same time, they was homeowners, so they just passed that wealth on. So that enabled me to have more than one property at a time. I don't have to live in both of them. I can rent one of them.
Right.
So
it can create some
home ownership is a stepping stone for generational wealth. And it is work for a lot of families. So give these folks your contact information so they'll know that they got some help. They're not alone in this issue.
Okay. So, again, my name is Lorinda Montgomery. I'm with Atlanta Property Matchmakers, and you can reach me at 678-428-2021 or visit our website at atlantapropertymatchmakers.com. And on that website, we have resources. We have available properties that are currently on the market. And then you can also reach out to us to schedule a consultation to ask these questions that we've sitting up here talking about. And, if you don't want to be in a group setting, just reach out to us and we will set up an appointment and answer your questions.
Yes. Now I want to just get on the veteran crew right now, because I'm sort of in this mood, Tony, where I think that we're not stepping up to the pump for our sales. I kind of worry about that, because what me and you've been doing and trying to get the VSOs to come together, not just our members, but veterans, period, to come together in the community. But right now, dialogue, because we're going to continue doing what we're doing in Vietnam Veterans of America by, representing our programs, pushing benefits. But the problem is we are not getting veterans to come out for their benefits. Once we got most of the people that we got 100%, we don't see them anymore. They feel like they have arrived. But what do you think going to happen in January, coming next week, to veterans? What is your major concern?
The major concern is going to be the economy, because we have no idea once the new administration takes over and where he's going to go. and that's a challenge. And what that does, it makes people apprehensive about investing in property. Even though it's a safe investment, but still they don't know what the economy is going to do. He has talked about so many different things that he's going to do that you just don't know. And so I think part of the problem is a lot of people are taking the wait and see attitude. And of course, that's not always good with real estate because it's going to continue to increase and everything. But when you don't know what to do, what you're going to do.
You know what you just said something and it reminded me. When I bought the house on Whitworth Drive, when I started buying the house on Whitworth Drive in 1966, right? Brand new house, 3-bedroom brick frame house, still the same house now, right? Same house, same identical house. I ride by pretty frequently. Nothing has changed, nothing built, nothing onto it. The grounds didn't grow. I paid $14,800 for the house. Yeah. Today they want $210,000 for the same house. Yeah. Something is wrong with this picture. I mean, Lorenzo, tell me, how do they do that kind of stuff with housing?
I would have to look, just in that particular instance, I would have to look at the development that's going on around the house, because any kind of development around that house is going to increase the value of the house. So you said you bought it in 66, when was it built?
In 1966.
It's almost, more than 60 years old? Yeah, so the area has changed significantly. And so there's, like I said, there's probably new development.
Let me tell you a little secret. That Kentucky Fried Chicken on the corner up there, Baker, up there on Fairburn Road, I know
exactly where you are.
That was a part-time job for me when I bought that house. Same place. The development in that area has not increased 2% in all those years. The only thing that probably increased out there was Fulton Industrial.
So that's more recent. But in 82, they built a new high school. That's Mays.
Okay, Mays.
They built I want to call it assisted living center that sits behind the Dollar General. That's been built in recent years.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. I
am not sure when. What's the church at Fairburn Road and near Archer High School?
Harper High School.
Yeah. What's that church across the street?
That's Jackson Church. Ain't it?
Yes. Yeah. And so
Jackson Memorial.
Right. And so that's been developed over the last 40 years. Then, like you said, the city of Atlanta is doing something. They're doing development with Fulton Industrial that they've been working on for the last 20, 30 years. And now it's starting to come into fruition. And so
that made
all of that has increased your property values. And then there's development in there. A new house get built, it changes the tax bracket of the neighborhood. And so that's where you're seeing those prices rising. So to you, because you're from the neighborhood, you're like, there's not much is going on. But those kind of developments will increase the value in a range.
Oh, wow. You're teaching me something, because I was shocked the other day when I had my mortgage company call me to try to get me to do what they call a rate reduction loan. And they told me, said, well, the property value in your neighborhood has increased. And I said, what? I didn't understand what they was talking about. Now I said, well, I ain't seen nothing happen, but it is some developments going on. Okay. See, I needed to understand that, because it just blew my mind to think about. I'm paying $14,000 for a house in '66, and the same house right now. My grandson can't buy it for less than $200,000. That's bothersome to me, really. But thank you for sharing that, because what you just shared with me is some political stuff that we need to be eyeballing. Political stuff, that causing the home ownership, property taxes and all that stuff to go up because of development that might not have anything to do with your house. Okay. Man, that give us something to argue about. Give me something to talk to my kids about, so they understand why housing is becoming so expensive, as opposed to when I got started as a young adult. The opportunities look like we open up more opportunities for them, but the cost of those opportunities is so much more than it was for my generation when I was young, and that bothers me because I want them to get so to stop asking me for my money. No, I love them. I don't care about that. I just tease. I be teasing with them about that, but I understand the economics of change in our community has made home ownership out of reach for too many of our young people. And I want to, in my head, I'm trying to figure out how can we get it to where it's more affordable, and that's going to be politics. It's going to be politics because, that's who raised the taxes, right? And that's who that's who the banks get to raise the price of property. And we need to look at that because I think the cost of housing is being unfairly burdensome on our young people. I do, because it was easy for me to get in my first house because my daddy just co-signed for it. We just went out there and it shocked me. It was so fast because he had to bust me and little partners of mine. We done went up there to 7 Coats, right? And rented an apartment. When you first getting out of high school, you going into the young brothers. I'm working for the railroad, so I got a little money, my little buddy. So we still stand at home, but we want to be independent. So we go up there. My daddy busted. Parents used to watch kids closer than they do now. So my daddy busted. He said, "What are you over there paying rent for?" I wanted to tell him I wasn't paying no rent, but he was going to ask me, Elson, I seen you over there. Watch your car. And he probably just spied on me because, and he said, I seen you up there. I said, okay. I said, okay. Then I got to tell him that me and my little partners done got together and we joined a shared rent, right? Because it's our little playhouse. That's what it is. We're kids, right? So I was glad he bust me. Because he set me on the road to understanding rent versus mortgage payments. And he showed me by putting me on a mortgage payment, right? You see, you get your mortgage payment, and it was a 3-bedroom house, right? And I was paying less for the 3-bedroom house than we were paying for the apartment right away. So our young people need to understand that, but at the same time, when they ask the question, why is the housing so costly now as opposed when you was a kid? I'm like, okay. I don't know. Don't be asking me no questions like that. No. What I tell them, I said, I'll get some answers. We'll get some answers for you because it's good to know that so that when we are voting for folks, when we're using the political process every time we vote, and we need to remember we're going to be voting for governor 2025. State of Georgia. We need a new governor, not because the governor that we got is so bad. It's just that he can't run no more. And we need to think about how we are going to face the future with a governor that's not a hypocrite. And the governor that we got now is a hypocrite. He just said one thing that he was going to uphold the law in every respect of what he was doing. And he went against that when he said he actually endorsed a convicted felon to be the president when he got convicted felons in the state that can't get certain jobs. So to me, that's hypocritical. And we need to think about how we gonna look at the future in terms of housing, because housing has become so expensive for our young people. They don't leave home. I was glad to go leave home because I know certain things I couldn't do in my mama's house, right? So I got to go, right? Now, kids ain't going nowhere, man. They can't afford to go nowhere. They can't even afford an apartment on their income. And we need to be looking at ways of how we going to put that in check for them, because I don't think it's fair for the development outside of your property to have such a great impact on the increased value of your property. Because the increased value is good that if I own the house, right? But if I'm trying to buy the house, it's not good. You know, it's really not good for young people right now because the income inequity in our communities is shameful. And it's so shameful, our children don't want to talk about it. You know, they just go to work and do the best they can on these jobs, so they got a job. But when they get paid off, when they get their pay every week or every 2 weeks or whenever, and they get through paying their housing costs, 45% of their income is gone. 45%. Look at child care, look at the other costs. They are struggling every month. And so we got to do something about that. And we have to teach our children about how politics work. Well, we need to teach our members how politics work. You know, the old folks. We're not getting it either. Because I mean, we're blessed to be a blessing. We should be passing this information on as we learn. We can't just get so mad that I don't want to deal with them. You know, we look at the generational gap with what's going on in the city in terms of gun violence. It was no way that I could have went in my mama's house with a gun in my pocket. As a young man, I knew better, right? I grew up in the house with guns. I knew better than to touch one of them, too. I knew they were there. I might look at them, but I wasn't finna put my hands on them as if they were watching me, you know, because I had this, and I think I had this healthy respect for my parents.
Yes. Not just a healthy respect for your parents, but a healthy respect for the law.
Yes.
And that's something that we don't see today.
We don't
is
teach our
a
kids
respect
that.
of the law.
Well, we don't teach them that, and what is happening, Tony, I think, is when they see that we got these hot-headed police officers that'll shoot you for a traffic violation. You know, we getting our kids killed in traffic violations because we got police that don't want to be questioned. You know, so. So our children are beginning to wonder why we are up against this kind of stuff when the parents should protect them from that, and we haven't did a good job because we not vetting the people that we vote for. We're not.
Yeah.
You know, and we get people that come and tell us they're gonna do this, that, and the other, and when they get in office.
Totally opposite.
It's just they don't even know what they told us. They done forgot what they told us and what they're supposed to be doing in office. And
well, they haven't forgotten. It's called selective loss of memory. They're choosing to not remember what they promised.
Yeah.
And what we do is we vote them in, and then they tell the same lie again, and we vote them back in. And we wonder, why are we so stagnant in different areas dealing with the law? It's challenging.
And I think our children look at us and hold us kind of responsible for that.
Yes.
So we need to understand that, you know, we do have a responsibility as elders in the community right now to give them information, to make sure that they understand what they got to do to increase their income, to grow their wealth. You know, if we don't tell them who are.
Yes.
You know, because right now, I see, when I didn't have anything with sisters. You know, I had both sisters. I'm my only boy. And I can remember when my sisters went to the drugstore and bought a bottle of fingernail polish, right? All of them used the same fingernail polish. My grandbaby fingernails cost $30 to get her fingernails fixed. I said, what the? You can't go to the store and get a bottle. I want to run around and ask my sister, why you ain't teach this girl? You know you went to the store and but now she got to have $30 for her fingernails.
Yep.
$150, that's $80 for her hair. What do you? I can't. I didn't see none of that in my house because Mama wasn't gonna do it, and she would say that, you know, go to the store and get some fingernail polish. Some kind of way we stop protecting our children because we want to give them more. I think we want to give them more than we had. That was, that was the primary.
And I think that's generational. All people want to see the next generation do better than what we are. And sometimes we see it happen. And I was lucky in that I could see it. My parents believed in buying real estate. And so when you see people buy, you go like, okay, that must be, it's something good about that.
Good about that.
Don't quite understand, and I didn't understand until I got old enough to own my own property. And I went like, oh, okay. Because I was in one of those situations of a assumable loan, which doesn't exist anymore. And but the people that I was very good friends with, they were realtors, and they had a property, and they offered it to me. She came to me, and because I was getting ready to retire. She said, "What are you going to do to retire?" I said, "I'm going to move in with my mother because she's showing signs of Alzheimer's, and I'll be the caregiver and kick my niece out." And she said, "You can't do that." And I said, "Yes, I can." But then she said, "I have a piece of property in Atlanta. I want you to take a look at it, and if you like it, I can arrange for you to assume this loan." And I'm going like, assume a loan? But I said, okay, I look perfect. I liked it and everything. She showed me the property. She said, she said, give me $10,000 and assume the loan. And she said, if you can't do the $10,000, I can do a second mortgage. I said, no, I can come up with the $10,000. And that's how I bought my first home and paid for it, and now I own it. Well, I was talking to my son who went away from Georgia to go to school, I said, well, at some point you're going to inherit this house when you move back to Atlanta. And he said, I have no intentions of moving back to Atlanta. And I went like, okay, well, what you need to do then is when you inherit this property, I said, get somebody to manage it. Don't sell it, because you will have an income for the rest of your life. You're inheriting property that is paid for. Just, and so hopefully he's going to do that, but you never know.
Yeah.
But he's showing signs of recognizing the value of having real estate. And so hopefully he will do that. And I said, you don't have to come back. Let somebody manage it, and you'll get that check every month, and you'll be good. So,
generational wealth.
Generational wealth. That was the word I was working on back here, but I couldn't get it. But now he has generational wealth. Hopefully he'll hold on to it. Yeah. And basically I saw my brother-in-law, who is now transitioned, do the same thing for my sister and everything. Is this, once the house was paid. In fact, what they did, they purchased their son's home, paid cash for it, and let him pay the mortgage on their home. And as a result, they have two properties, and they didn't have the challenge of paying a mortgage because they were able to purchase it, and then their son paid for it. And my sister said she got this notice one day about some property, and she said, I thought we were paying the mortgage. And then she remembered, oh, Gerald's paying the mortgage. Didn't realize that they'd paid for the house. So they got that final notice and all the notification that comes along with it.
Title.
Yes, yes.
I feel like we're accomplished. Got the title. Ooh, it's mine.
Yes.
And that's what we want for all our community.
Oh, yes, we want to show them this is what you can do if you make those kinds of investments and everything. Instead of, like you said, paying rent, purchase that property, Go into a debt, eat a lot of peanut butter and jelly sandwiches until you can afford it. Yeah.
And, that's what we were talking about today. We got to make sure that our young people understand this more because they need motivations, right? Because right now, we got some major investors, billionaire investors, that are buying up all the property that they can in the city of Atlanta, in the area. And they're building multi-family dwellings for us to live in. I don't like that. I'm not that neighborly, so I couldn't live in my I would be that neighbor that be saying, keep the noise down.
Taking the broom, hitting the
ceiling. Hitting the ceiling and all that kind of stuff. So I wouldn't do good in a rental situation like that. But, putting all jokes aside, it is essential that veterans start using their benefits. You know, and there are some other programs that non-veterans that actually have popped up in recent years where people can get mortgages with no money, no down payments, right?
There are programs out there that will give the potential buyer assistance with their down payment assistance. It's called down payment assistance, so it gives them a hand in getting their down payment.
Down payment, okay.
Yes.
Now,
So I haven't seen too many programs that are like the Veterans Program where they get 100% assistance, but there's a percentage of the assistance that they do give. Now I will tell you that with people who are buying new construction, the builders are offering a lot more incentives to get people to buy new construction. So they may give you 15, 20, 40,000, depending on the price point, that amount in down payment, and then give you extra for, like, you know, closing costs or incidentals. Like with buying new construction, you know, they may give you a stipend to go in and put in upgrades in your countertops or your cabinets, fixtures, things like that. That works best if you are able to purchase new construction, because they're giving you extra money to get in there. As far as like in Atlanta, I think the Land Bank has a program where they're giving you money if you buy in their
property.
area, buy their property in that area. They're giving those people incentives to come into those communities, and it's called it really helps with revitalizing the community. And so they go in, they've already acquired the housing, and so they work with the developer, if I'm not mistaken, to actually fix the houses up, and then the person goes in and buys it. But if you buy it, they're offering some kind of money incentive for you to go in and buy it. Normally it is a down payment assistance or a grant, a forgivable grant. So if you stay in the house up to 5 years, you don't have to pay that grant back. But if you sell within that 5 years, it's prorated how much you owe them back of that grant.
So it just make more sense to be a homeowner on it.
Yes.
Yeah,
It makes more sense for you to figure out how to get there. And then if you are a little challenged, take the time to fix whatever that challenge is, because on the back end, it's going to be more beneficial if you do go in and purchase a home versus renting. Because the rental market is nothing like we've seen in several years. And so all of the increases, and the owners, I know, they're in it to make money.
right, yes.
But the people that they're catering to are suffering. So what happens when you price everyone out of the rental market?
Yeah.
We're going to have more, to me, they have nowhere to go.
Right.
Or they're being pushed further out. So instead of living in, downtown Atlanta, now I got to move to Clayton County. And depending on how much further I have to go, I could be in Spalding. Next, you think we're gonna be in Macon. So. And that's being a little facetious, but it gives you an idea. Yes, they're moving the masses out because they're being priced out of the rental market, because their income may not be increasing.
Right. Yeah.
So they have to go where they can afford. And if affording means they're 20 miles outside of the city, they're being pushed that way.
Yeah, and then that adds to the fact transportation
It's not there.
It's not in those areas, particularly public transportation. Now you got to go in debt for an automobile so that you can get back into the city where your job is. It appears to be almost a lose-lose situation, particularly if you aren't making a great salary that will allow you to be able to afford to live in those areas and travel, on a daily basis back and forth to work.
And see, Tony, you hit on a keynote that we want to make sure people understand that about veterans benefits too.
Yeah,
That's such a.
I was sort of working my way toward that, but go ahead.
It's such a great resource to be a veteran if you know all the benefits that you have. I went to school on I had no student loan, none of that stuff, and I went to a master's level on SAM. Kenny wear him out. I mean, everybody down in the Atlanta area techno Kenny, because he go down there and he use those benefits to get trade skills, so that you can earn a better living.
Right.
See, and I'm watching something that's happening with immigrants, immigrants, and the demagogues are able to manipulate us with this too, because they'll say that immigrants are taking our place. They try to get us to buy into the replacement theory. When we see immigrants coming in, they get education, they'll go get training quickly, and you see them building the streets and building the multi-level home in the community, which pays the best jobs, the best salaries. Our young men are not doing that because they won't use the education apparatus that's available to them. And we need to understand that with veterans, you got this benefit. You can go to school. You can go to school to increase your capacity to increase your income. And we need to make sure that families know this, so that they can be an encouragement to their veterans to go to school. And in some cases, the veteran benefits will allow your spouse to go to school free, allow your children to go to school with a check. We need to make sure that people understand these veteran benefits, and why I keep saying it meant for the veteran, their family, and the community, because they are stepping stone benefits. And that's what they was designed to be, stepping stone benefits. Now, Lorenzo pointed out some stuff that we need to understand. They cloud the benefits with credit issues. Credit issues, so, really credit issues. But with a good realtor and a good banker, you can get around some of those credit issues, right? You can work with some of the credit issues, because you guys have programs to help people improve those credit issues. And then some bankers have the capacity to do manual overrides.
On the lender side, yes, sir.
On the lender side. But if you don't know about these things, you're not going to be able to take advantage of them.
Right.
So that's why it's so critical. That's why we got you here today, to try to share the information about the home loans, that we are eligible for, and that we need more than all the other benefits that we got. We need to focus on that home loan, because it keeps your cost of living down every month. It really actually do. Because, I keep trying to show my grandson, I got a 4-bedroom house, and I pay less for my mortgage than he paid for a 3-bedroom apartment.
So how do you convince young buyers, new buyers, people that are new on the market, young couples that are stepping out, about getting into a situation where they will be able to take advantage of these types of programs?
So one way I do is we host a home buyer seminar for new home buyers, first time home buyers is what it's called. And so anyone that we can get in front of us. I'm not trying to sell them a house that day.
Okay.
What I'm trying to do, what I'm attempting to do is just educate them on, like you said, the benefits of owning a house and why they should own something. Maybe they don't want the full, 1-acre house. I get it. But a townhouse is still a property that they can use. And the townhouse, for the most part, the townhouses are almost the same size as the apartment. So it's not like you're living in something that's huge. So getting them to at least understand what the significance is of just owning something. Doesn't have to be, their grandparents' house. It doesn't have to be something huge. Come in and get, a condo, a townhouse, something that you can still call your own. And then that gives them a taste of, oh, this is what home ownership is about. Exactly. So that, when they're ready to upgrade, they'll move into that other house, but they'll be better prepared instead of just going. Some people are prepared to go straight to the house. They just need to know the information. They need to understand what the dynamics is of owning a house. how to get into it, what I'm going to now be responsible for versus what the maintenance man is going to be responsible for at the apartment. Because I had a young lady who I helped get into a house, and she was like, well, I'm going to have to take care of this. I've got to mow the lawn. When I have an issue with the water heater, I've got to do yes. But think of it this way. It's mine.
Exactly.
No one can tell me, turn your music down. Come in, well, if you're having a house party outside, yes, okay, your neighbors may say something, but for the most part, it's yours. You're building something for you and your family. And the biggest thing about it, I'm not paying someone else's rent.
Right.
I'm not helping someone else live the American dream that I want to live for myself. Now I'm taking control of me, creating wealth for my family. That's a safe, secure place. That's mine.
Yeah.
So having those kind of conversations with the younger kids.
Exactly.
I shouldn't say kids.
I know,
but the younger
but
people come into the market.
Yeah. Because a lot of them are coming into the market with well-paying jobs.
Yes.
And so is that a challenge, having them to spending more money than they can actually afford,
Yes.
because they're making that great salary, but you have to live beyond your mortgage.
Okay, so what I've realized is that for those that have, because I have two buckets with those. So you have the people who understand, yes, I'm making all this money and I'm still going to live frugally because they want to eventually buy a house, or they eventually want something of their own. They want to invest. Some of them come up with the idea, I'm not trying to work like my parents did, because one, there's not going to be a pension left for me. I don't know what Social Security is going to look like for me, so I need to save and put my ducks in a row now. And then you have some that are living the high life, saying, oh, I'm making all of this money, I got my apartment, I got the $1,000 car note, I don't have any life insurance, I can die in a car accident tomorrow, my parents and my family cannot take care of themselves. I have the expensive apartment because I living like the Joneses, and not realizing that the Joneses aren't living like the Joneses, but it's like you said, it's a status. I'm on the internet. I'm seeing all of these influencers, these TikTokers, and all of the people on the internet who have gone out and shown you this fabulous life that you think they are living, but when the camera's lights go off, they're not really living that, but you can't convince them of that. So with that bucket, you kind of gingerly talk to them. Because everybody is able to have their own mind. They believe what they believe. My job is to just put the information in front of them so that if they eventually are ready, I'm there to move them to the next stage.
Right.
And then just having conversations with them to let them know that, yes, you're making a lot of money, but what are you doing with it that will help you?
Right.
I'm not even trying to take care of a family. I'm saying, how is that going to help you should the economy change? And what if your job goes away tomorrow? How do you take care of what you have in place because you've been overspending? And so trying to give them that visualization, saying, hey, you got a good job today, but they can come in tomorrow and the company can shut down. Look at all of the jobs that are being lost. Look at all the companies that are shutting down. They're laying off thousands of people because the economy has shifted and they can't keep you.
Right.
What happens to you when that happens? You don't think you can just go out tomorrow, the next day, and pick up a job. It's not that. It's not that quick.
No.
And so helping them try to see that vision, that picture, because right now they're not. They're like, I'm making a lot of money. I can go out and buy this, top of the line Mercedes and not having to worry about it. And then,
right.
But you lose your job tomorrow. They give you a severance package that will only fund you to the end of the month.
Exactly.
What happens?
Yeah.
So trying to stick that into their mind so that they can say, oh yeah, you have a point.
Yeah.
So that's one way I do it.
Yeah. And then the point, they don't think about generational wealth.
It's me.
It's me, and now. I'm living now, and I'm going to take care of me, and I'm going to enjoy this now.
Yeah, we don't. They don't have the same kind of mindset as our generation had with our parents.
Right.
Because I saw my dad move us from Chicago to Atlanta. Took a job with Norfolk Southern, which is now Southern Railway. Or I may have it vice versa. And then worked hard until he retired in 32 years. And so, but the entire time we're watching him, my dad is, because he has 3 girls, so he instilled in us, work hard, get good grades, get a good job. Okay, I'm not even gonna talk about that part. But he did instill a good work ethic in us to do the work, so that when we're of his age, at least we'll have something to fall back on. We'll have a place to stay that's paid off, so no one's going to kick us out of our apartment. Nobody's going to kick us out of our house, because he made sure we knew what to do to make sure you stay connected. And then having family, because he told us when we were young, we're kids, we don't think about it. He was like, this house is going to stay in this family. Okay, we're kids. But as adults, I get the gist of what he meant by that. So my sisters and I have all agreed, when they both transition, this house will stay in the family. So we're teaching our nephew, look, this house has to stay in the family. So you need to do whatever you need to do to make sure the taxes are upkept, to make sure the maintenance is done, because this house is going to stay in the family. And so when you get married, you're going to have to tell the little girl, this is staying in the family.
Yep, exactly.
So, and what's disheartening is that I go through the neighborhoods, like I know where the side of town, in the west side where you are, see all of the parents who have left here, to transition on, left the houses for the kids, and the kids, some developer come through and offer them peanuts on the dollar, and they're like, oh yeah, you sure, we take it. Like you said, I'm never coming back to Atlanta. I don't want that house. And then just, instead of, like you said, trying to keep it. And I understand you may not have the money to repair the house. Let's figure it out. Because it could be figured out. Where you can keep it, where you're not going into debt trying to keep it, where you're able to fix it up, maintain it, and then rent it out. Like you said, that would be the best advice I would give any parent who has a child that's on the fence about coming back and taking the property. You don't have to come back, baby. Just make sure you have somebody to take care of it that you trust. You have to be trustworthy. I've had a couple of my investors who've been taken because they live out of town and trusted somebody to, and they taken money. But I digress. But make sure that you all have the conversations, because we're not having the conversations with our kids. We're just saying, hey, this is what's going to happen. This is what's going to happen. I'm going to leave you this house. But you're not having the conversation like you have with your son. Make sure that you take care of the house, because this house is money to you. Not quick fast money. No. Don't take the quick fast money.
But it's guaranteed.
Take the guaranteed generational money, because that's we only care about us.
We're living in the now.
Yes, yes.
Because when you got an extra $1,500 a month coming in from property, it makes a difference.
And if the property is paid off too.
That's what I'm saying. You got really extra $1,500 a month coming in for the property, because you got to pay the realtor something for keeping the property up, keeping it up. But the idea that you got this extra income, so it's an extra income for young people, and I'm so glad we was able to do this today. This is something that I feel very strongly about, is home ownership, and not just with veterans, but I focus on veterans because I'm a veteran, and I know the benefits are there. And it's easier. And I tell you what, I want to say this, and then we'll talk about the Sons of Atlanta. But I was able to take the equity out of my home in 2022, and pay off all of my bills. Just ain't got no bills. So, home ownership is something that it's always useful to you. And if we can get people to understand that, we got somebody that will help them get them houses. So that's the best.
Educate them and point them in the right direction. Definitely that.
And that's what we're here for today. And we're so thankful to you for doing this. And I don't want nobody to forget that we are Vietnam Veterans of America. This is our media voice. And we are here every week doing the same thing we've been trying to do ever since we started the show, to get the information out to the community that gonna help them grow. That's what it's about. When you're a veteran, you serve this country to make sure that the opportunities that are opened up to you and yours like it is to everybody else. There's enough for everybody, so don't let us get caught in this hate gang of hating the immigrants. Because they doing the work we won't do no more. And we need them here. Yeah. And we're not going to sit silently by if they start rounding them up and mistreating people because of the politics of America today. But more than that, I want people to go to the sonsofatlanta.org, sonsofatlanta.org. Look at the 240 plus soldiers photographs. I want you to start looking at it now because during the holidays, this is when military service means a lot because we got young people in all parts of the world that they serving in the military and they won't be home with families. And these guys was left home and never came back. But we're bringing them back. We're bringing them back because we're going to bring that sense of service and dedication to duty into their communities to make the communities a better place for everybody, not just veterans. So we are doing this. I want you to go to the sonsofatlanta.org and buy a brick too. You can put your name in the park with these guys to make sure that we are going into the communities that they came out of and making a difference in the community. So every Saturday, that's what we're going to be doing from now until May of next year, which is the Memorial Day. And then Memorial Day, we're going to take over Piedmont Park. We're going to put stuff in Piedmont Park. Ain't never been there before. We're going to show it out because we're going to be bringing honor to our homeboys who served and made the doors open for opportunities in this country like never before. And we're not going to let politics confuse us to cause us to start hating. We're going to make sure that we are living like we should live in our communities. Love their neighbors. Want for your neighbors what you want for yourself. Treat your neighbors the way you want to be treated. And do this more than anything else. Value the freedoms that you have because they didn't come free. They didn't come free. These young men that we're talking about from Atlanta, Georgia, just represent the locals. But 58,000 of my peers, our peers, died in Vietnam for this country to be a multiracial, multicultural democracy. And we're not going back. Just pure and simple, we're not going back. We like where we at. We know we can do better, and we're going to do better. You know, we are better than this. This is gun violence in our city, in my hometown, is unacceptable. We shouldn't have news that's saying we got 13 and 14-year-olds in Oakland City shootouts. You know, dying, young 13 and 14-year-old dying on the streets because of gun violence. We got to protect our children. We got to give them more than this. We are better than this. So we want you to join us in this call for unity. And we're going all over Fulton County. So you'll see Tony talking to you.
Yeah.
You know, you'll see Tony at you, and I'll be right there behind him, you know, pushing it forward. So thank you for today. We want to thank Lorenza for being here with us and doing what she does in the community, because let me tell you something. We got realtors out there that know they making money, and they ain't got time to give you no information. They just want they making all that money because this is one of the best housing markets in the country. They said Atlanta one of the best places to live in the country, and I believe
Still
that.
more affordable than the bigger cities like New York and Chicago.
Yeah, it's the best place in the country. I love the city, and we're gonna make it love. We're gonna make it, you know, the community that it can be, should be, for all the people that's here, no matter what color of the skin that you wear, because you didn't choose that. You know, I mean, I didn't choose to be black, but I like it. I'm sorry, but I didn't choose it, but I like it. You know, so I mean, you know, I'm not gonna get in a corner. I'm gonna, you know, I want to be a part of the American dream too.
Yeah.
You know, I want a piece of the apple pie, and we can get it because it's enough for everybody. If we stop letting the 2%ers make us think otherwise, and they still controlling us. We can't let that happen. So until next week. We'll be back here doing the same thing we're doing today, trying to make sense out of a sensitive situation. And we're making sense out of it because we're getting people to help us with it. You know, we're getting people like we have today. people that got good information, got a heart for their community, and they like doing what they do.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Tony,
Yep.
close that.
So, like he said, same time next Saturday, right here, talking about critical topics, critical to the knowledge and the success and the benefits for the veterans and our community. So next Saturday, 4 o'clock, we'll be right here talking about things necessary for veterans to have a better life, including our current guest, housing. So until next Saturday, we'll see you then.
So,
I'm so sorry. That's an
Oh,
alarm.
no.
that
Because if I
was it.
pulled it out, I was gonna